Every year we're bombarded with more movies based on books, on comic books, existing franchises, reboots, toys, you name it, they want to make a movie about it. And yet people are always surprised when books fail to translate into movies. And there are a lot of reasons, but I'm going to cover the top 3 reasons why books always fail, or almost always fail, to become great movies. And the first reason is that they're just simply not true to the source material. You know, Hollywood and producers and directors get their hands on this material and they want to give it their own voice. They want to put their own spin on it. And while that's fine creatively, you can only take so many artistic liberties before you stray too far from the source material. And the reason this is such a problem is not because their ideas are bad or because the original book idea was better. It's simply that the first people you're going to get in the seats in the theater are the fans of the books, right? If you see an ad on TV for Twilight or The Hunger Games or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, whatever, the people there opening night are the people who have read the books. Me personally, one of my favorite books is Ender's Game. And when they said they were going to release the Ender's Game movie, even though I thought it looked like total crap, I still showed up to see the movie because I had to. I felt obligated because I was a fan of the franchise. And I knew the movie was going to be bad, but I still had to go see it because maybe, just maybe, they were actually going to get it right. And that's what every fan does. They see this movie for their favorite franchise, their favorite book, and they're going to go. They're going to go and they're going to get in that seat. And what happens? They're disappointed. They're let down because what they see on the screen is not what they read in the book. And because of that, they tell their friends, yeah, don't go see it. The book's way better. It sucks. Don't watch it. And if they had actually made a movie that was true to the source material, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it has to honor and be respectful for the source material. If they do that, then all those fans who show up, all those day one, midnight screening, those ticket purchasers, they're going to go out and tell their friends, hey, you know what? You should actually go see that movie because it's actually really, really good. I think this is exactly what happened with Lord of the Rings, where people went, like every one of those movies, Lord of the Rings, from Fellowship to Two Towers to Return of the King, every one of those movies had more attendees than the prior one and had more ticket sales than the prior one. And I think it's because the fans showed up for Fellowship and no one knew it. No one had any idea. The only people who saw that movie were the fans. And the fans told their friends, hey, you should actually go check this out. This is actually really, really good. And guess what? People came, and they came again, and they came again. Where the exact opposite is true of The Hobbit. The fans showed up for the first one and said, not that good. Don't waste your money. And so attendance fell and fell for each subsequent movie. And that's exactly what happens. Your fans, the people who are loyal to the book material, they're the voice, that they're the ad spend that you don't have to pay for. If you make them happy, they will tell their friends about it and everyone will come out to the movie. But so often the movie doesn't honor the source material and it disappoints the fans. And so it's no wonder that no one else wants to go see it, because if the fans aren't even happy, why would I go see it? If it's not good for the fans, well, I'm not even a fan. I'm going to tune out. The next big reason why books always fail to be transformed into movies is because they pick to do a movie instead of a TV show. And this isn't always the case for some of these kind of like one-off, you're kind of, what are they? You're Tom Clancy type, like spy, like one-off storylines where, cover to cover, it's one consolidated storyline. I'm talking about the more expanded universe type stuff. And maybe that's even the case for some of the Tom Clancy stuff. But go with me for a second, because this is what I think most people miss. They read a book or they see a series and they say, we need to make a blockbuster. We need to make this the next big thing. Instead, what they should do is look at that and say, does this make sense as a movie? Is the story contained in 2 hours? Is that possible? Or should we make a TV show? Because with a TV show, we might not have as much budget per episode, but overall we might be able to secure the same amount of dollars. And we'll have more time to do the story justice. We'll be able to honor the source material like we're supposed to. And we can get more out of it because we can expand these characters and they don't have to be one-dimensional. Most people, when they see a movie nowadays, complain that, Yeah, the plot was all right. It had some plot holes, story was okay, but the characters were shallow. And it's because everyone's so used to seeing House of Cards, Breaking Bad, Orange is the New Black, Game of Thrones. The stuff that we're seeing on TV now is so much better. And this started with, The Sopranos and The Wire and things like that. And it's only been pushed better and better to where now the stuff that we're seeing on TV surpasses the stuff that we're seeing in movie theaters. You only have 2-hour window in a movie theater, and that's not enough time. And so then they break the book up. Oh, part 1, coming this summer, part 2 coming next summer. No, screw that. Make it a TV show. If you have that much stuff that you need to cram in, put it on TV. The budgets are there. You have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, cable companies, cable networks looking for content like this to attract people. Shows like Mad Men, where it's such a slow burn and yet it's so popular because people love the character development and they love the expanded stories. Game of Thrones is the perfect example of books that are so dense and have so much going on that that is why that is such a successful TV show, because it's the perfect format and medium for it. And when Hollywood looks at a book or a book series and they say, let's make 7 Harry Potter movies. Well, for Harry Potter, that might make sense. But for other series, like if they said, let's make Game of Thrones the movies, they would be so watered down. There wouldn't be time to actually give any of the characters the respect they deserve. And the plot would suffer because you need that character development to make those story beats actually impact the audience and make the audience care. You're with these people. It's a journey. It's not just 2 hours of beginning, middle, and end. And number 3, the third reason why movies often fail to capture the magic of books is because it's kind of a combination of 1 and 2, but it's because they skip relevant information because they're confined to the time constraint. But even beyond that, I've seen many movies where that are based on books. I think Twilight I was watching, and I was just baffled by what was happening on screen. I didn't understand why the characters were doing what they were doing, why the story was progressing the way it did. And I asked my friend, who had read Twilight, and was like, what is happening? Why are they doing this? Oh, well, in the book, it was described a lot better, and there was reasons for all this, and they proceeded to explain to me why the things were happening in the movie the way they were happening. But as a viewer who's never read the book, it's extremely confusing if it doesn't honor the source material. It doesn't have the time. It should have been put on TV. And so you're presented with this film that from a viewer looks like they didn't spend enough time on the script. Even though what they're doing is how the book happened, they're leaving out that relevant information for whatever reason, thinking that, we don't have time, it's not that important. People have read the book, or they know, or they can make assumptions, whatever. And so that's kind of a byproduct of 1 and 2, but that's sometimes the most offensive because you're looking at this movie and you're just confused. Why would they do that? Where did the Eagles come from? That is, oh my gosh, that is number 1. That's what everyone says, like the Lord of the Rings movies, oh yeah, they're great, except for the Eagles at the end. They don't make any sense. And anyone who's read the book is like, well, the Eagles, they actually, that was all explained because of it, blah, blah. And I haven't read the book, so I don't know, but this is what I hear. And you're looking at, well, all I saw was the movie. So if it was really that important, they should have included it. Well, they didn't really have time, and it wasn't, there were more key points that they should have hit on. No. If you're looking at the end of a movie and it doesn't make sense, they should have included that information. So those are the reasons why books often always fail to translate into movies, because they're not true to the source material. They choose to be made into movies instead of TV series, and they skip relevant information that the audience needs. Maybe I missed a few reasons. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think that movies are great venues for books. Just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And subscribe by clicking the button.